Oh, there you are. Um, this is more of a spiritual matter message, and I say it, definitely to a dream I had about these pyramids and these gods sending down through these colored bloodlines, these hybrid bloodlines. And I would say, yes, the old gods have returned, but I would say also the Atlantean spirits of these gods have returned too. Fallen angels, you think of hybrid bloodlines, and the spirits of the Atlantean races, real, as they call it, shapeshifters. I do believe, honestly, there was these different kingdoms that were around Earth during a time before most humans were here. Majority of how many humans that are on the planet today, they were here before us. That's why you see, if you ever look at the terminology called mud fossils and these creatures that were part of the landscape, it's not just referring to the giants. I'm talking about Atlantis, the eye of the fish, the Atlantis, the Atlantean races. That this race, specifically this race, because there was other ones, there was Dwarka and all these other ones that I do believe this specific kingdom was obsessed about the real and contacting this real stuff. Pointing my finger, it's almost like the third eye stuff, right? Because it symbolizes through our pineal gland accessing the spirit realm. So you do heavy drugs, you're gonna relax your pineal and access it, believe it or not, and it's ran through all religious cultures throughout the world. So for a long time that you think of movies like, I don't know if you ever thought about this, the Children of the Corn movie. That movie was literally about the spirits of the Atlanteans, and they were evil. And someone brought that up one day about that movie, and like those spirits that were in those children were literally just the spirits of Atlanteans, but most importantly, the real. That we all technically have the real in us. It's just, is it activated or is it not? And it goes into the good or bad narcissist, and really, the bad narcissist is really just contacting the real, the lower level entities. And these spirits really are from the dark side, the dark realm, the lower level, and they do operate around on Saturn frequency as well. I'd seen something in the spirit one day. I was like wondering, why am I seeing these parasites swimming through this fluid? Because I'd see that all of a sudden, some days I wouldn't ask for it, but it's like randomly it would hit me. These parasites would be swimming through this fluid, and then it would like flash, and I would see it, and I'm like, why am I seeing that? And then I came along and stumbled upon what are the archons and the Vrillia. Hitler's Thule Society was obsessed about this, so on and so forth. You see it in other movies as well. The Society, old horror movie back in the 90s, and so on and so forth. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And so basically it's about signaling these entities, they're parasites. You can also say the same thing about narcissists, and people that operate on bad narcissism are operating in the real arena. That's what the real does. It's these lower level parasites, demons, whatever you want to call them, but they're specifically these parasites. I don't know if you remember that movie, The Faculty. It came out in the 90s where they found the worms and put them in water, and they had teeth and everything. That's the real, and they would always be obsessed about sticking their worms into people, and then they would change, and they would be like them. They were contacted, and every time rainwater would hit them, the worms and parasites would come out. That's the real, and basically this race, also known as these Atlantean spirits, because I believe they're all filled with bad narcissism, or at least they did over time, were like this. That's why they became greedy and selfish in the end, because that goes into it as well, bad narcissism. That it's like you see that with society, right? So many people turn into these bad narcissists, and you're probably thinking, like, I didn't know there was a such thing between good and bad narcissists. Well, everyone is narcissistic if you think about it to a degree, but not all of us are bad, as in saying the bad ones have the worst intentions. They don't care if you live or die, versus good ones. They still crave dominance, but they don't want to see you hurt or killed. That's the recessive negative RH recessive positive gene, and then the negative dominant ones are really, those are the negative antigens. And by the way, these can't conspire together because they create other blood mutations when they send out the antibodies. But bad narcissism in our society, the American society and all societies around, are just really examples of the Atlantean spirits have returned. The old gods have returned. The hybrid gods have returned to our planet and our world. And they're operating through people, through society. And who knows, maybe they'll even show eventually. I heard people talking that they believe they're going to physically show themselves, even coming out of the sea and south from under the earth, whatever. And it goes into, what is it, the Bible scripture about people's hearts failing them for what is going to come back over the earth. I most certainly believe this sooner than later. So, Paradise, Alchemy, Rising, Phoenix Rising, Pegasus, Reborn, out.